My name is Cameron Miller, and I'm the owner of GSP Homes, which is a real estate brokerage here in central Kentucky. So, as an owner in a real estate company, what's always top of mind for me is just making sure that whatever we're doing with a high level of excellence for the customer. And so, the constant problems that I'm faced with solving is just making sure that across the table, everybody receives that high level of quality experience. So I first discovered Smith.ai probably just with a lot of online reading and blogging and things like that, just really researching. So it wasn't something that someone pointed me to, but I was looking for some type of solution to just handling calls that our guys weren't available for in the evening. And so I was going for hours and hours looking for something that I felt like would just be a good fit. And Smith and the reputation that they seem to have online just really stuck out to me. Originally, whenever we were wanting to use Smith AI, it was really just so that we wouldn't miss phone calls. So, at the end of the day, we are kind of a high ticket business. And so missing a phone call could be a big deal for the revenue. So we wanted to make sure that if our guys weren't available, that we didn't run the risk of missing those calls when someone was ready or needed help right away. And then eventually, over time, we realized that Smith did a really good job handling those calls and could schedule appointments really well too. And so we said, hey, what if we could use it for more of that speed to lead case? And so that's what we did. And so now, although Smith still takes a lot of our phone calls, we also use them so that when someone fills out an online form, they can immediately reach out and hopefully go ahead and schedule those appointments. And we're actually pretty shocked just over time how Smith, whatever y'all are doing on the inside, is handling those exact use cases better and better over the last year. And it's very common now to see Smith just schedule appointments for our agents. And, it's almost like it's just out of thin air. It feels that way. So we're very grateful for that. We were using a scheduling tool called Calendly originally. Eventually, we moved towards something called SavvyCal, and both of them worked great for us. And Smith was really good about adapting to that change with us either way. Before we tried to use Smith AI, I think the outreach method that we really tried to outsource was through VAs and things like that. So we were trying the method of virtual assistants and tried all kinds of different companies. I couldn't really tell you which specific one, but we were just never really satisfied with the quality that those services brought. And so honestly, we kind of walked into Smith thinking it may be that same end result, kind of, just hoping for the best. And we were blown away that the comparison, how much better the callers were able to actually handle a call. So for us, we were pretty much hooked right after that because we had tried so many and it not went well. So this was Smith has been incredible for us, especially in comparison to the other VA services. Yeah, so the types of callers that Smith is getting with us, there's a little bit of a mix. They're usually either calling because maybe they saw some signage or referral from a friend or something that they just want to talk to us about what it would look like to sell their home. But Smith is also fielding the more difficult calls, if you ask me, where maybe one of our sales reps reached out to someone and maybe they were cold calling or just reaching out consistently to some folks. And, every now and then you get one that's a little grouchier than the others. And so, Smith is handling those calls too to be able to just turn someone that, may not be happy that they got these random cold calls into a lead or an appointment and de-escalating that conversation. That's probably one of the things I've been most impressed with. Yeah, so I think what I wish I would have known 2 years ago before I used something like Smith and Smith specifically is that if you're in a high ticket sales industry, the cost of not being the first call is extremely high. And people are, we're in a age where convenience has a lot to do with whether a business relationship goes well or not. And so to be able to have that speed to lead where we're immediately reaching out to those folks, I mean, that I wish I would have known just how bad that affected our top line revenue by not having something that was always available. So that's probably my biggest regret when it comes to a lot of online marketing is that we didn't have a system set up to be the first one to call you when you did raise your hand. Yeah, I think that the biggest myth or, misconcern that I had and that other folks had when I talked to them about it is that you had to surrender quality of the receptionist in order to effectively outsource that task. And Smith has just proven that that's just not true. To be honest, I really think Smith probably, because they're so dedicated to training those folks, probably done it better than I would have as a business owner. And so, ultimately, I was afraid that everyone was right, that I had to surrender the quality, but that's just not been the case. I think my recommendations would just be Smith is willing to really kind of put the best foot forward when it comes to trying out the service. To me, the buy-in to just test it out is so incredibly low that why not be willing to test something out at such a reasonable price that could potentially change a big cog in your wheel. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is something that can boost revenue, it can save costs, and it's going to help you fill gaps operationally that you probably didn't even know you had. And for the cost that Smith is making that available, I don't know why you wouldn't at least try.